Hello, this is Ariella Carmel at Calcalis and Bank Leumie's Tech and Invest conference in Miami. I'm joined by Omry Cohen, COO of El Al. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Ariella. Good afternoon.
So can you start off by telling me a little bit about El Al's activities in the last period, both in general and particularly in the US?
Sure. So as everybody knows, since the events of October 7th, El Al has found itself being one of the very few carriers still flying in and out of Israel. El Al has learned a lot about itself over the last year in terms of the capabilities, taking on the responsibility that it set itself out to accomplish, which is bridging Israel to the world and the world to Israel. Mm-hmm. We have an unbelievable staff in the ground, in the air, that really come together to fulfill that mission to the best of our abilities, giving 120% and above. Mm-hmm. We've added capacity wherever we can, main hubs, where we saw the demand grow, and in areas where we saw demand dwindle, we stopped flights. Mm-hmm. And we find ourselves being challenged time and again with new developments, new attacks, the continued cancellation of other airlines adds to that pressure, and mm-hmm. We're happy to be able to take on the responsibility with the challenges that come with it. Specifically the U.S. market, where we're the only point-to-point carrier right now. It's essentially still in the air. We're finding that the demand is very strong, whether it's the local ethnic market or tourism, to the extent that it's still active, business travel as well. We're seeing the demand is very strong from the U.S.
Are you seeing that it's grown, maybe since the peak of the last year when there was lower tourism? Is it starting to return?
Well, we're right now in a time period where it's very hard to quite accurately evaluate that level of demand, because being the only carrier, mm-hmm. seeing that there's a diminished lack of capacity in the market, as far as we're seeing it, the demand is at its peak continuously. So we're seeing what we would normally see in peak times, whether it's the holidays, for example. We're seeing that spread across the year. Mm-hmm. And with every new cancellation of a foreign carrier, delayed return, we're seeing that peak take on more significance.
And can you tell me a little bit more about your activities in the U.S. and your goals and plans in terms of expanding within the U.S. market?
Sure. So today we fly to several destinations in the U.S.: Boston, JFK, Newark, and Jersey. We added Fort Lauderdale, we're very proud of. We have Miami, and of course Los Angeles. We've diverted as much capacity and assets as we've been able to with our wide-body aircrafts to these destinations, again, due to the demand. We moved our offices post-COVID to South Florida. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
The weather helps, and we've really added additional members to the team that we found could add tremendous value both to the operations in the airports, as well as with the relationships we have with travel agents across the U.S. And we've also increased our marketing efforts to be able to target all the segments that we know are interested in flying to Israel. And that really spans the gamut. There are it ranges from the local ethnic market to evangelicals, business travel, tourism, connecting flights. The demand is there with or without the war taking place, and we want to make sure that we're there to be able to manage that capacity and be able to do it in a way where El Al is not the default choice, but really top of mind with the great customer experience and journey. Mm-hmm. We've invested tremendous resources and efforts, both in Israel and abroad, on our hard product, soft product, the services. We want to ensure that individuals see El Al as a carrier of choice, as a legacy carrier that provides them for the best experience that they're paying for.
Do you have a rough idea as to what amount of the travel between Israel and the U.S. right now is business related and business travel?
I mean, we're seeing the demand on all fronts. It's visiting friends and family, it's volunteerism, it's business travel. So it's really, I don't have the exact numbers, but it does. It is divided among those categories, and depending on the season, one will be more dominant over the other. What's interesting in the U.S. Versus other markets is that the inbound travel to Israel from the U.S. takes on is proportionally higher than you would find, let's say, in some of our destinations in the Far East or even in Europe.
Has it always been like that, or?
It's been more so, but it's now taking on much.
It's grown.
It's a lot. It's grown.
Interesting. And you mentioned that you have opened new offices, not in the last few years, in South Florida. Can you talk a little bit about the kind of travel and activity that's going on between Israel and Florida? And there's clearly a demand there that
absolutely. We're looking at Florida as a strategic long-term play. We're seeing what South Florida economically is what's taking place over here. The boom, it can be found. Earlier speakers today spoke about what's happening in South Florida from an economic perspective, and we want to make sure that we're there today and into the future. We're seeing especially the ethnic market growing north of Miami, all the way up to West Palm Beach and beyond. And as a local, I know the difference. I know the preference. I know why I would rather fly out of, let's say, Fort Lauderdale over Miami. So although the Israeli market would, let's say, prefer Miami because that's what they know, but we know that the local market understands the significance and importance of FLL. And the Israeli market will slowly learn that as well. So it takes a little bit of conditioning, a little bit of market education, but we're very, very excited about being here in South Florida, having a stronger presence, both in terms of our offices, our staff, and of course our operations.
Do you think that also the maybe increased interest or demand has to do with maybe the growing awareness among Israeli entrepreneurs in the Israeli industry of the potential that Florida holds as a tech hub, as an investment, an economic and business center? Whereas
Absolutely.
Previously they would look at New York, they'd look at Silicon Valley, but it seems like there's been major growth in that awareness now.
Yes, the trends speak for themselves. We're seeing the growth in areas that you just mentioned, whether it's real estate, agriculture, tech, cyber, tourism, and more. And El Al wants to we want to make sure that we're there to be able to support all of these this growth in all of these industries.
Are there any other parts of the country that you see yourselves focusing on or expanding to maybe in the future?
We certainly want to. We're constantly evaluating the feasibility of additional destinations. We're currently limited between seeing that we're having a difficult time meeting the demands today with our current hubs. All future plans are sort of sidelined until we're able to meet the needs of those new markets and develop them further. But certainly there's an interest to be able to provide more of that direct point-to-point services to other parts of the U.S. Hopefully the war ends, the hostages come home, and things settle down, we're able to focus on expanding to other destinations.
May I recommend Hawaii?
You may. I'll be the first one to volunteer to go and try it.
Some
check out the area.
flights.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Excellent.
I don't think anybody else would argue either.
No. So you previously mentioned that there were going to be additional destinations and hubs that you're working on in the future. Are there any other new programs that you're planning on introducing in the U.S.?
Yeah, so as part of improving the customer experience and in improving the connection that our passengers, that our customers have to El Al, we are looking to add additional features and opportunities within our Matmid program here in the U.S. So we right now bolster almost 700,000 Matmid members in globally, vast majority of that in the U.S. And we want to make them feel even closer to home. So that's down the pipeline, yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Omry, and all of your insights are much appreciated, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Ariel. You too. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.